Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to this session at Crypto Miners with Nunu Spirit. So we would like to welcome Nunu Spirit back for another session with us because we talked with them sometime in the past before the launch of their project. So yes, we'll be having Nunu Spirit come back to chat with us about their project, what they've been doing so far, and some of the things to expect, I guess, concerning the project going forward. And Mr. Gabriel Brockman, who's the CEO, is going to be the one chatting with us today. So, welcome everyone. If you're new to any of our sessions like this, make sure to stay till the end of the session. And I think we're going to have a question and answer session in this one, part of this one. So, if you have any questions that you would like to ask Mr. Gabriel about Nunu Spirit, you can drop it in the comment section or you could use the request button, and then when it's time, I will try to take your questions. So, as I said before, make sure to stay with us till the end of the session and follow Nunu Spirit on X, formerly Twitter, and also join the community so that you can keep up to date to everything relating the project. So, uh,
Hi, Jenny.
I
How's it
see
going?
that
Can you
they,
hear me? Yeah.
yes, hi, welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here again. I'm joining from the official account. I think it's easier for people to find Nunu Spirits that way rather than having to go through my personal profile. But
Okay,
sorry to throw that curveball at you. But thanks for having
but
us.
welcome.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
great being here on with crypto miners. As you mentioned, yeah, we've done this a couple times, and yeah, back in the day when we started, and then we kind of had a really great session with you guys a little more recently, I guess. And you guys have been big supporters of the New Spirits project for some time now. So really appreciate all of the support that you guys give to the projects. And I think that Crypto Miners is one of those places that does find really nice projects to share with the community. So we're really happy to be here.
All right. We're excited to have you back. And honestly, I think that we are excited to also, go into uh details about Nunu Spirits and what you have been cooking so far for the future. But let's start with a quick introduction, reintroduction rather. And I'm asking for this because our community grows every day, and we have a lot of new people, investors in our community who might not be familiar with Nunu Spirits. So, a quick reintroduction, and then we could quickly touch on what Nunu Spirit is all about
Sure.
for the
So for
benefit.
those of you who, sorry, excuse me. For those of you who haven't met Nunu Spirits yet, I really highly encourage you to check out nunuspirits.io or follow us here on this Twitter, or X as it's now called. And we have some great community action going on over in our Discord as well. So, but just to give you a little bit about who we are, maybe a little bit about why we do this. We're a hybrid, free-to-play Web3 game based around our cute digital collectibles. We call them NFTs here in this industry, but I think NFTs are looking at a rebrand here in the near future, and essentially they are digital collectibles. They're one of one digital game assets that can be used in our games and hopefully across the metaverse as well. We have a number of metaverse partners that allow our that will allow our NFTs to be usable inside of their metaverses and in our partner games as well. So as we work forward towards that. Uh, but the whole kind of the gist of it and why we got started is we wanted to connect players in a casual style game, mass market looking, casual, fun play, co-op focus. And we wanted to combine that kind of um, momentum towards doing something good for our environment. And in our case, planting trees. So yeah, we started with this kind of slogan, save the Nunu, save the forest. And we've been running with that ever since. And so all of our NFTs are tied to real trees planted in the real world. So that's one of the major things that sets us apart. Another thing is that our NFTs are all fully 3D. So we have a full high poly model and a low poly model. So it's usable in games, but it's also printable. So you can actually, if you dig into our archives in our fan art sections and on our Discord, you can see a number of our NFTs have already been printed on home printers, which is pretty cool, and in full 3D. So it's like a little toy sitting on your desk. Anyway, I think that's enough for a quick intro. If you want to find out more, obviously check out nunuspirits.io. That's got the portal for the download links to the game. I can throw something up in the Jumbotron as well here, so you guys can kind of do a one-click quick look.
Okay, thank you for that. Right. So Nunu Spirit, right? It's essentially, fun gaming, and as you mentioned, digital collectibles and ecological action, that's focused
100%. Yep.
on um reforestation. And honestly, I would like us to like talk about Nunu Spirit in talk about these three aspects, but I want to start with the ecological aspect part because I'm honestly interested and excited about that.
Sure, for sure.
So let me ask now for the benefit of those who are joining us newly and would really love to get to know about Nunu Spirit, could you elaborate on how Nunu Spirit utilizes Web3 technology to drive reforestation efforts and promote environmental sustainability?
So yeah, I mean, the project is definitely about sustainability, not just on the environmental side, but also in a Web3 kind of earning scenario. We coming into this industry fresh, we kind of saw some issues with the economic models, and we believe there's a future in Web3, and it's definitely about production and consumption. You have to have people who are willing to consume, and that's basically what majority of gamers are looking for. They're looking to come in and to play and have fun. And on the Web3 side of things, it's a much smaller market, but they're very active, very engaged. As you can see here, we have a number of listeners already in board. Like crypto crowds are so much fun to engage with because they are so active, and they want to do something, and they want to make their own situation better. They want to do some better for their projects, and they want to grow the industry as a whole in general. So this is kind of an exciting opportunity to allow the crypto side, the crypto players, to basically prop up and help and guide and support and create content that is consumed by more traditional gamers. And we think that we can have hundreds of thousands of players all playing together in this ecosystem. Not everyone creating, but a large number of them can be creating content and engaged in kind of higher level engagement with the platform, and those can be our earners, our Web3 earners. And on the other side, we have all these people who would like to play games, and they like having something of value being added to their gameplay experience. They like digital collectibles. They don't necessarily like NFTs, but they like the idea of collecting something unique inside of a game. And yeah, essentially what we thought, and especially since NFTs are kind of in their let's say infancy. They're very new in terms of a product on the market. They're still trying to find their way. We thought that the more we could tie the value of an NFT with something valuable in the real world, such as planting a tree, the better off we would be as a community, as a digital item. We would be less dependent on speculation and hype cycles, and we would be more kind of self-sustainable. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So basically, all of our trees, as I say, all of our trees are planted by our global partners, and those are all linked to the NFTs on chain. So they become tradable. They become kind of these status symbols that you can retain. You have a tree score, so the more NFTs you collect, the higher your tree score, the more options you have to play inside of games. And we just announced some improvements to the NFTs as well. So we can get into that a little bit later when we talk a bit more about the NFTs. But that's essentially a bit more about the eco side of things. Hope that makes sense, Jenny.
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you. And now the NFT improvement, yeah, we will get to that. But now you mentioned that you work with partners, right? And of course, for the reforestation efforts that you have going on. Now, I would like to ask, how do you go about selecting the location that you like that you want to support? Or should I rephrase that question? Like, how do
Sure.
you ensure that your reforestation efforts are ecologically sound,
Hmm.
right? And aligned with the needs of local
Hmm.
ecosystems?
So this is in basically our partner selection process. We pick partners that basically handle this for us. So we don't select partners that plant monocultures, even though there are some very efficient systems for monoculture planting, especially with mangroves and so on and so forth. But our partners are generally focused not just on reforestation. They're about some of them have slogans like rewilding. So it's about creating the flora in local systems or regenerating the flora, i.e., trees, for fauna, i.e., animals, to come back in and live. So yeah, it's very important for us that our partners have both third-party reporting systems, so they can be audited, so that they're not double counting, which is also something that you have to be careful of. But they're also planting a variety of trees based on the local needs of the environment in which they're planting. And all of our partners are very, very eco-friendly and have necessary approvals from governments in the areas in which they're planting. For example, Green Steps have their certificates and stuff for planting in their local. There's also Plant Verde, and they're one of the only tree planting outfits that's approved by the Brazilian government to help reforest the rainforest there. As you can imagine, that's probably a very uh, tricky ecosystem to plant in. You could really cause some damage by planting the wrong types of trees in those type of ecosystems. So yeah, essentially, yeah, we do that by selecting only the best possible tree partners.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, so let me ask one more question about the ecological action. And now you mentioned that when I get an NFT, right? um Essentially it's going to be tied to something real, like the initiative that you have going on. And how does that work exactly? If I collect an okay, collectible, yes, if I collect an NFT or digital collectible, whatever you want to call it, how exactly am I, because I would like to know, right, the idea that I am supporting something real, in the real world, in real time, is something that's, it's awesome, right? But how exactly does that work? If I collect an
Yeah.
NFT, how exactly am I supporting,
So
your ecological
as soon as we basically mint the collection, we back the collection with trees. We order trees from our tree partners because obviously planting trees does take time. You need to order the tree. The tree needs to be propagated and grown to a seedling so that it has a chance of surviving in the wild. And then we have other partners, for example, Airseed, which plants the tree kind of more on demand, I would say, as they plant seed pods via drones, which is really cool. If you check out Airseed Technologies, they're doing some amazing stuff with reforesting the Australian bush, which is very inaccessible with traditional means. But essentially, from a player's journey standpoint, I go to the shop, I see the NFT, I'm like, oh, I want this NFT, so I grab the NFT. You can already know that once you purchase that NFT, we're already in the process of planting that tree in the real world. Then, by playing with that NFT inside of the game, or registering and holding it in our accounts, you're basically earning, let's say, experience points to level up that Nunu. Once you get to a certain level, you're allowed to progress to the next life cycle of that Nunu spirit, which is the Elder. And once you've got to the Elder state, that elder is producing additional seedlings and additional traits for subsequent generations of NFTs. Now, obviously, we're still in the process of launching the Genesis collection, so that stuff's a little bit down the road. But the idea there is like as soon as you have that NFT, you can be sure that you're planting a tree somewhere in the real world. And that once you make it to that elder state, you'll be able to know exactly which tree that is, which tree partner planted it, and where in the world that tree is. And then eventually we're looking at it, kind of leveling up that whole system and that process and allowing players to select which partner they would like to plant with, in this kind of more variable minting strategy that we're looking at coming up in the future. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. But essentially, yeah, you have the collectible, you're a tree planter, and no one can tell you otherwise.
I love it. So now essentially you're saying that for every NFT collected, right, in the Nunu system, there's a tree planted.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. We have
Okay.
3,000 in
Okay.
our Genesis collection, and we've already planted over 4,000 trees. So we're already backed up, for any sort of they call it a mortality. In basically, it's essentially sometimes trees don't make it. This is the real world, and it's out in the real world and live. And something like a goat can come along and eat your tree. so you know, so you have to have backup systems in place. You have to have kind of like reserves already available. We already have that. But also our tree partners also do plant and compensate for that in their models. So they basically they audit themselves and determine how many of their trees are surviving, and then they replant for those that haven't survived. So it's like double backed up.
Right. Okay, so let me ask real quick. If I want to collect an NFT right now, so I can have my tree planted, how much does it cost for me to get an NFT? Like now? Is
So
that
yeah,
possible?
definitely. There are a few. There's a limited pool available on our website on portal.nunuspirits.io. You can go there, you can take your NNT, and you can buy either seedlings, which are fragments of an NFT. So you buy 3 seedlings and you can merge them on our portal to get a draw from our Genesis collection. I think this is the best way to do it right now, because if you buy, for example, 3 common seedlings and merge them, you actually have a chance of getting something that's higher than common rarity when you merge them. So, it's a little bit of a I don't know, lottery, so to speak. But I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a nice way to reward. And it's a fun way to engage, and you don't necessarily have to buy all of your seedlings. We have giveaways and stuff like that, and events inside of our communities in which players can win seedlings. Very, very rarely do we award NFTs as just free NFTs to go out there. But a common NFT right now, I believe, is somewhere around 4 to 6 AVAX on OpenSea, and yeah, you can also buy them for NNT in our shop as well. So yeah, the best thing to do is maybe hop in and grab yourself some NNT, which you can pick up on PancakeSwap and Mexi as well. I can throw a little bit more about that up there as well. We just did a post about the merging today, and maybe that'll help.
Okay. Now, the reason I asked that question is that we have precisely 406 people listening. Okay, 402 people listening in this session, and everyone should go get an NFT or two. I want us to plant trees. We need to plant 400 trees right now. I know Mr. Gabriel probably has a tree planted already, but maybe you can get another one and we can get 400. Ooh, 412 now. So everybody, go get an NFT so we can plant more trees, okay? Very important. Okay.
Yeah, so
Let's
I put the merge process up in the jumbotron. So if you hop up there, you can see that. There's also links to where you can get NNT, so you can purchase them from the shop. And yeah, so you can hop up there in the jumbotron, just go grab yourself some NNT, and then head over to the shop, portal.nunuspirits.io. That's also linked in that post above. Yeah, but basically, yeah, like Jenny said, if you want to participate and support, projects that are developing games, and you want to do something nice for your environment, this is a great opportunity to do that. So I really appreciate the shout out, Jenny, and the push to get some more NFTs out there.
Yes, yes, yes. It's important. And the reason I said this because I think we can all agree that in the crypto space, the one thing that we are all united in is mass adoption, getting more people to know about, cryptocurrency, Web3. And I think that this is such a great way to see that there's a reforestation initiative going on, trees are
100%.
being
Yeah,
planted. And then when people, yeah, get to know about this and they'd be like, oh, Nunu Spirits is in charge of it. And they'd be like, oh, Nunu Spirit is a Web3 project, as a Web3 project. And
exactly.
before you know it, people want
We're
to get
our
involved.
game is full because it's hybrid. Our game is fully free to play. So anybody who's used to playing games on iOS or Android can just hop on and start playing. They don't need to know how to, hold a wallet. They don't have to have a recovery phrase. And this is essential for onboarding mass market. You can't expect mass market to come in through the traditional Web3 onboarding process. It's too complicated. There's too many steps and there's too much risk involved, getting into that. But if we can offer a way for somebody to come in, they can have some fun. They can even buy trees without buying NFTs in our game, which is awesome. And it helps them progress in the game, and it helps us grow our community, and it helps us develop more features. And and at some point while they're playing, they can actually win NFTs. Um, and then we say, hey, here's your NFT. And then one of the things that we're working on here in the near future is a custodial wallet, so that these free to play users, if they're registered, will basically have a custodial wallet for them to collect into. So they won't even have to set up recovery phrases or any of that stuff, but they'll still have an NFT. And that's really essential, because once you have that NFT, you start to play with it, you see the value of it, and you're like, hey, now I have this. What else can I do with it? Oh, I can do some user generated content, or I can stake it and I can earn some tokens. I never knew you could do that. And then you start doing that, and oh, now I want to sell it. How do I sell it? Oh, I can sell it on OpenSea or a marketplace, or I can sell it back to the foundation, or there's all these things that open up as possibilities once you have somebody, once you've given them the NFT, once you've given them that experience and shown them the value of that.
Right, right. Now that you mentioned selling, something came to my mind. I'm guessing that these NFTs, right? Once we've collected them, right? It's not possible for us to sell it, is
The
it?
NFTs, yeah, absolutely. They're listed. We are verified on NF Trade as a digital collection, and we're also listed on OpenSea as well. So yeah, you can resell. You can also pick up some there as well. People looking to get out. There's always somebody who needs to sell for one reason or another, and so that's the great thing about the free market. You can sometimes take advantage of that and find something for even lower than MSRP, if possible. But yeah, yeah, if you're a good floor sweeper, always check those listings. And if you're a huge avid supporter of Nunu Spirits, obviously grab your bag of NNT, head over to the shop. There's a limited supply there, so it's first come first serve at this point. So yeah, get in there.
Okay, okay. We have about let me see, 7, 8 minutes, to talk more before we start to take questions. So, now you mentioned that you have done some form of upgrade to the NFTs. I don't know if you've covered that or if you haven't. Could you tell us what that is? Because I would like to ask some more question about collaborations, partnerships outside, of course, your ecological actions.
Sure, sure. So the idea that we had behind our NFTs was always that they would be producing content that's consumed inside our game. And one of the things that I always had problems with in free to play was the idea of hard currency. And for those of you who don't know, hard currency is basically like gems. So you buy a token or a gem inside the game, and it's only usable inside of that game. And the problem with that is it's highly centralized. It's and the developer can essentially change the value of that on a whim, and it happens a lot. It happens more often than you would think, and I don't think it's very fair or ethical for a game developer to do this. It's just kind of the standard that's been adopted by free-to-play industry, and it's just kind of become accepted. And I think Web3 offers a better way to do this. And so our NFTs will also act as essentially node generators. They will be generating or responsible for generating the hard currency that's sold inside of the game. And as part of that and reward for that service, they will be basically rewarded with tokens. So yeah, not only that, but as we move into more advanced features in the game, NFT holders will be our curators, are basically gatekeepers for the user-generated content. So they'll have access to builder tools so that they can build their own mini games, levels, etc. And they'll also be responsible for kind of rating and making sure that the games that are presented are not exploitations and are fun, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, NFTs kind of these Nunu Spirits more than any other project, they're really the foundation of being an active participant in this ecosystem. So yeah, your NFT isn't just a representation of you planting a tree, but it's your kind of passport, your gateway and ID into participating in our ecosystem and all of the stuff that we have coming.
All right. Thank you for answering that. Now, let's talk about partnerships. I know that even for traditional businesses, partnerships are very, 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 honestly, extremely important. So what are some of the partnerships that, as you've been in operation for a while, what are some of the partnerships that you have had that when you look back at it, you know that it really, really demonstrates your commitment to the overall growth of the Nunu Spirit system. That's one part of the question. And then, what are some of the other partnerships that you have coming up going forward? Mr. Gabriel, are you
I'm
there?
muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, you definitely have to kind of look back and say, okay, which of our backers in the early stages really helped us kind of with a leg up. We have a number of huge investors you can find on our website that really kind of kicked us off and helped us from the early stages. So you gotta give a shout out to the early VCs and the backers, for believing in the project from the start. Obviously, GameStarter and Vent, for example, helped us with the IDOs. Specifically Vent. I mean, we have talks with Vent on an almost weekly basis. It feels like they're always, trying to help and elevate. They do some amazing things. So check those guys out. As far as network partners, we had actually fairly recently we decided to kind of make good on our promise to make Nunu Spirits multi-chain, and we picked up XP Network and their ability to bridge. And so some of you guys might notice that there are some Nunu Spirits on Polygon Network as well. And that's thanks to them and their ability to seamlessly bridge our NFTs from the AVAX network over to the Polygon network, over to Matic. So yeah, super cool people. And then of course our game partners. We're currently doing some stuff with Puff Go, Puff Metaverse. They're pretty awesome. and Skytopia as well. It'd be hard not to forget them. They have a super cute collection like we do, and they've been a wonderful friend and supporter of us over the time. So I mean, God, so many of them. It would be impossible to list them in the time that we have. But really huge thank you to all the people that have supported us, do help us out with, staying relevant and staying in the news, in these difficult times. I think everybody in crypto, crypto miners knows that this is a difficult time for projects. So I would encourage everyone here to find your favorite projects, whether it's Nunu Spirits or whatever, and just show up, hop into into their channels, reshare some content from them, and be as engaged as possible, even though the market might be trending downward or whatever, or they might be having a difficult time, making sales. It really, really makes a huge difference if you as community members can show up and say hi, drop in, just drop a GM. It's really low cost for you guys, but it really kind of helps motivate projects like ours. So love to see you guys all hop in, drop a GM, ask a question, share some of our stuff with some of your friends. It all really, really, really helps, more than you know. Right now, it's almost impossible to do paid marketing. Crypto miners, and we've been talking about this a lot. Like, paid marketing is just really, really difficult at the moment, and so it's hard for projects to be recognized and in the spotlight. But you guys can help with that. Every single one of you here. I think there's over 400 people here in this chat. You guys have a huge, huge opportunity to get involved with these communities, and getting involved with these communities. We're super happy to help reward you guys for that, for being part of the, in the very beginning. So hope that helps.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you. Okay, I will take one more question, just one more, and I'll open it up to you guys and you can ask your questions. And I think let me ask, if looking forward, now you mentioned that one of the things that you have in the pipeline or coming up is the custodial wallet. I mean, apart from that, right, looking at the future of Nunu Spirits, um uh what should holders and supporters, of Nunu Spirits look forward to, um, especially like in the coming year,
Yeah.
right? In terms of milestones and developments, what should we look forward to in Nunu Spirits?
So the big one is multiplayer. Right now, the game is up and it's in what we call soft launch state. It's only single player mode available right now, so it's not as engaging or as fun as we want it to be. But it really gives you an idea of what the world is going to be like. The characters that are in it, the colors, the feeling, kind of a little bit of nostalgia mixed in with some really cute and vibrant and fun modern characters. But yeah, one of the biggest features requested by our community was multiplayer. And so we shifted some things around, and we are avidly working towards getting multiplayer in. And we're hoping to get it in sometime around the end of this year, either Q4 or Q1 of next year. We should have our first, let's say, beta of multiplayer in our games. So you'll be able to play a little bit more sandboxy games. The game that's coming up next is, right now, it's kind of like a mashup between Capture the Flag and golf. If that makes any sense. It's really kind of fun though, because you can run around in this space, and you'll be able to run around in that space with your buddies as you run around in your little Nunu Spirits avatars. You'll be able to grab seedlings and try and get them into a place where those seedlings can take root and become saplings. And so that's kind of the theme and the motif of that one. But we're developing this system of creating mini games so that we can create them modularly, and create all kinds of different environments and game modes. And then we'll open those tools up to our players for user-generated content. So they can build their own levels, they can build their own kind of game systems just by dragging items into a scene and then publishing that scene. So yeah, multiplayer first, then user-generated content. And then, like you said, things like custodial wallets and other kind of quality of life things to help onboard and bridge people from, mass market into Web3.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gabriel, for answering that. And I think that one of the reasons why I am excited about Nunu Spirit, I was talking with a project yesterday, and I just mentioned that so the Web3 space or cryptocurrency just seems to be saturated with a lot of meme projects. I don't want to call names, but there's just so many meme projects all over, and it gets to a point where for people like me, the reason why you made the transition into Web3 it seems to be lost, which is actually
Yep.
doing something that, yeah, something that supports real life situations that, so when you get lost in the meme world, it seems like you've lost perspective. I don't know how to describe it, but and then when you find a project like Nunu Spirits, like a breath of fresh air, so that's why I'm really excited about
Well,
Nunu
I think there
Spirits.
are people who are looking for projects that are building, actually building. So, there's a difference between just the hype speculator and somebody who's actually interested in innovation, and the way that they invest, the way that they participate in project ecosystems and stuff like that. And I think it's okay to have both. I kind of throw a little bit of shade on the meme projects. I call them the tsetse flies of Web3, in that tsetse flies are used in genetic experiments because they have a very short life cycle, and you can basically see what happens at the beginning, the middle, the end, and you can see it very very quickly. And so I think in some ways, it's good to have those projects, but it's also, it's important to approach these things responsibly. You got to do your research and realize that, the chance for a meme project to last, even like, Shiba or, Inu or any of those like kind of long-term meme projects, it's it's highly unlikely, and it's really just built on a hype cycle, and it's built on a community kind of blast, and a lot of money and marketing is put into that. And it depends on who you're looking at, who's setting it up, and what kind of structures are in place to prevent rug pulling. But a lot of these projects don't have anything like that, and so somebody is always kind of running away with the funds for the project, and the development then kind of stagnates and doesn't go anywhere. But if you find builders who are still building at this point, I mean, the bear market's been well underway for over a year. And like you said, I think it's a breath of fresh air, and I think it's good to find those projects. And like I said, you don't have to go in and support them financially. That's not always necessary. You can go in and support them by sharing, by being involved in the community. And a lot of these projects, like Nunu Spirits, are looking for ways to reward that kind of engagement. So get in there, have some fun. Work for these projects. Become ambassador, become a moderator. Just be an advocate for, like Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. If you want to see more projects like this that stick around, that don't just leave at the first sign of difficulty, do what you can to support them. I hope to see you in our community, but even if you don't feel Nunu Spirits is right for you, I hope you find that community somewhere.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So let's take questions real quick. Anthony, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. This
Sure.
has been a nice AMA so far. Quick question, about two questions. First of all, when it comes to gaming projects, uh, most projects just put out any game they like, and expect people to come play, and they don't put in much effort in the gameplay, so the gameplay is kind of shitty. And as a gamer like me, the first thing I'm gonna look at when coming to a gaming project is it interesting, is it exciting for
Oop,
people
you cut
to
out there,
keep me
Anthony.
even.
As a gamer like you, and then I lost you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Or Jenny, am I rugged?
No. Can you hear
Can
me?
you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
3.2, Jenny, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Anthony, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
I think I'm
apparently,
rogue.
Mr. Gabriel, I think Mr. Gabriel might be having some connection issues on his end. Mr. Gabriel? Okay. Um, yes, exactly. But Anthony, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, perfectly.
Hey,
Perfectly.
can
Okay,
you hear me
okay.
guys now?
We'll just wait for okay.
All right, I think I got rugged.
It
Sorry
happens.
about that. So Anthony, I think I caught
It's
your
right.
question and it was about gameplay.
Can you hear me
Yep,
now?
yep, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yep.
can I go on?
Yeah, go ahead. I got to the point where for gamers like you, so and you were talking about
Okay,
gameplay.
I'm gonna continue.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. For gamers like me, I'm definitely gonna look at how interesting the game is.
Mm,
Can it keep me? Can it is it gonna bring me back? So I'm gonna ask you. Definitely you're not gonna be like other project that just put in a shitty gameplay and expect community to be there. So what's the effort you're gonna put in the gameplay at least to make people come back to play it, at least to make it fun and interesting, adventurous for for gamers.
yep,
You understand
yep,
me?
I got you. Yep.
Plus definitely you're gonna share it because in the I looked at the project and definitely there are gonna be two things. They're gonna divide it 50-50 gameplay and how to um, provide like to contribute to the environment
Hmm.
like you have. So definitely the gameplay and also is there any how transparent are you going to be and accurate in verifying the reward tree planting linked to each NFT,
Sure,
and how are you going to ensure players that you can how are you going to ensure players that they can trust um, the claimable, the environmental impact
sure.
they are preaching to us.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
So I'm
So
also
for
don't be angry. So sorry.
go ahead. Say more.
Additionally, um, how does this project plan to sustain the long-term ecological impact of the tree planting initiative? While also addressing the possibility of the declining. There's definitely going to be a declining of interest in the connection between the digital collectibles
Hmm.
and environmental engagement.
Cool.
So just
Okay,
questions.
big question. I'll try to get it quick so we can get everybody else in as well. Gameplay is quite simple. We've been developing games for 12 years, or I have been developing games for 12 years. With my current studio, Tater Games, we've been developing for a little over 5. And so one of the ways, actually the only way that you can get to a fun playable game right now, in my opinion, is by engaging with the community early and as often as possible. So to that end, we had alphas app and playable very early. We took player feedback to get to where we are now. We took player feedback to get to the decision where we needed to implement multiplayer sooner rather than later. And so that's what we're working on. Uh, Basically make the game as quickly as possible, get the game up there in front of users, get them to test it, get them to try it, and then listen to their feedback. That's how we make good games. And as far as transparency inside of tree planting, that one's pretty easy. All of our tree partners are third-party auditable. So once you have the tree ID from our tree partner, you can either verify it from their side, or you can look at independent auditors that have verified those trees from that side. So and actually most of them are either on chain or in some sort of regulated registry. So there's no. And then the last one is in terms of long term. I mean, if you just take a look at Nunu's, they're very cute. Example, our Discord, you can see, some animations of our Nunus running around. We think that Nunu Spirits is one of those brands that has the potential to cross genres into, animated features, into toys, collectibles, etc. And as long as we connect that with our core mission of reforestation, Oh, yeah, I hope that answers that question. It was a big question, but yeah, thank you, Anthony.
It was. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. But if you have any question, make sure to join the community and ask. I just want to give other people the chance to ask a question. So B, you're up next.
Yeah, good day. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, Jenny. Well, it's
Sure.
been a very informative year so far. So my question was actually regarding to what I saw on your website. So on your website, I read that users should be able to, that's to retrieve their, sorry, to retrieve print their NFTs. So I wanted to know if this feature is available based on the type of rare NFTs users possess. And also, how can one actually merge and upgrade their NFTs, that's to upgrade its rarity? Thank you.
So the NFTs themselves don't upgrade. You are able to take your NFT to its next stage of the life cycle. So you can basically level up your NFT, and it becomes an elder. And that elder state allows you to start generating seedlings and traits for the next generation. That feature is not yet implemented. We switched the order of that around with our multiplayer. So we're going to get to multiplayer first before we launch that feature. Hope that answers your question. I think I caught it. You broke up a little bit in the middle there, but I think I got the gist of it. Right, B?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also, yeah, you actually answered my question. Just one more before I leave. I don't know if I can go ahead, Jenny.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, regarding a couple of things that which I saw on your website, that's that users of the highest holders of the highest rarity of NFTs will be granted more voting power. So I don't know, can you talk more about this feature and how you intend to actually
Yeah.
ensure fairness of the voting
Mm-hmm.
process if this is actually implemented? And amongst the five NFTs, the five rarity of NFTs which you possess, which of them holds more voting power? Which of them grants benefit of actually holding more voting power?
Sure. So
Thank
so
you.
as you go up in rarity from common to uncommon, to rare to epic to mythic, those are the five rarities that we have. There's actually only 50 mythics that have been minted by us and will be minted by us. In the future, we won't, as a foundation, mint any mythics. The only chance for you to get mythics will be to create seedlings from the mythic NFTs. Some of those will be released to kind of the communal pool for rewards, and some of those will be basically harvested by the holder of the mythic NFT. So you'll have a higher chance of getting a new mythic from subsequent generations. But yeah, the idea is that once we have user generated content, that's when the voting really starts to come into play. So once we introduce premium currencies into the game, so essentially hard currency, so buying of basically Nugo inside of the game, we'll need to tie that to the DAO that we're setting up for the NFTs. So it's not in place yet, but it is on its way. And the idea behind that is that we want to set up a fair and ethical system for creating a currency inside of the game rather than the old model, the traditional free-to-play model, which is just to create, funny money, essentially monopoly money, and sell as much of it as we want. Um, some of the funds from those sales will go back to rewards to reward the node holders, i.e. the NFT holders. So yeah, getting yourself one of these rare earlier generation NFTs, you'll have a bit heavier pull, a heavier weight in terms of your voting. So a rare NFT from the Genesis Zero will have stronger voting potential than a rare from generation 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or so on. Yeah, so yeah, obviously the big daddy is the mythic. There is actually only one available for sale, and you have to have a sizable amount of NNT in order to grab it. But our auction, we auctioned off the very first mythic NFT auction for, I think it was 6,500 USD at the time. So we have some big backers. They're still holding. And we have some bright things to come in the future. So hopefully that answers your question, B. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, B, for the question. All right, I think we'll squeeze in two more questions and Vanquish Snake. Vanquish Snake. Okay, dramatic. You're up, Vanquish Snake. Please give it one question, just one question, so we can take from somebody else before we wrap it up.
Okay, so I wanted to know about the inspiration. What are some of the inspiration for your games that you have took?
So inspiration for our games, you can find out a lot about this. But essentially, when we started the studio, we were working on a game. It was a co-op style game, and these kind of tree-headed things kind of popped into my head, and it was like trees versus beavers. And I mean, I think you can see some inspiration in there from like Miyazaki in his Kodamas. They're these little forest spirits. And then there are forest spirits kind of all over the world. Someone actually from our Philippines community mentioned that, you know, this is like a Philippines nature spirit. You know, and the idea of just this nature spirit embodying something that was discarded, you know, this tree stump, and then bringing it to life, obviously became really fun. I did a lot of sculpting on these myself. You can find those images all over kind of Twitter and in our Discord and stuff like that. But the idea was we wanted something that was cute enough to sit on your desk and make you smile every day when you looked at it. You know, so something like pop figures were a bit of an inspiration as well. Because they're infinitely collectible and they sit on your desk and you feel good when you have them. So as far as gameplay goes, our inspirations are taken from things like Mario Party, Overcooked, a little bit Fall Guys, but not so much the competitive thing. We want people to be able to play together in a co-op experience, which I also think is pretty niche in the NFT space. There aren't a lot of co-op games. So hopefully that answers your question. We can move on to the next one, and maybe we can squeeze one last one in there, I think.
Okay. Okay, Vanquish Snake. Thank you for your question. Now, HT Miles, please go ahead with your question. Thank you, HT Miles. If you're there.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know, has there been any security audits? Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Gabriel, did you
was
get
I
that?
muted? Sorry. Yes, we are. We were audited by Certique. Very easy question. Certique is one of the best auditors out there, and our smart contract was fully audited by them. Passed all that. You can find that certificate somewhere, buried in our website somewhere, I'm sure. But you can always ask in our Discord or our Telegram, and somebody can dig up the credentials if you need to see that with your own eyes. We're always happy to send those there. And I think we can get one more. We got Groot. Hey, Groot. Groot looks like us. I have a fun story about that. Groot, I actually sculpted the Nunu Spirits before Guardians of the Galaxy launched Baby Groot. So I kind of feel like we didn't steal Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's just my take on that. But let's take your question. Hello, can everybody hear me? I hope people can hear me. Did I get rugged again? Hello, everyone. I am not having the best of luck with X spaces today. Sorry about that, but we do have enough time. Go ahead, Groot. Hatim's laughing, so you can hear me. That's good. Go ahead, Groot. Ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thanks for bringing me up to speak in this year. My question is, are there plans to add extra features in your ecosystem in the near future? What plans do you have on your roadmap for 2022 for 2023, sorry, in the short term and long term? Hello.
I keep getting muted. So yeah, hi. We kind of answered this question already in that we have multiplayer coming this year. We have custodial wallet system being worked on. And the idea is that we want to make it easy for traditional users to come in and become Web3 users. So those are kind of like the main things that I would say are coming, but there'll be lots of other little things coming, quality of life things, updates to, controllers and stuff like that to make them a little bit more snappy and responsive. What else have we got? Extra levels should be coming for the games that we do have. And of course, you can always join our community to participate in our daily game or not daily, weekly game challenges. Sorry, every week we have game challenges where you can win prizes such as Nunu Spirits NFTs, seedlings. We even have USDT prizes, and NNT is also often given as rewards inside of our community. So yeah, if you want to find out and participate, best thing to do is hop in and join our communities and find out, participate in those, get rewards, have fun, and do something good for the environment while you're at it. Why not, right? Thank you, Groot.
Thanks for the great answer. Keep going and excel. Thank you.
Cheers. I think we lost Jenny now. X Spaces really killing us today. But I really appreciate everyone who's come today. I really want to say thank you to Jenny for hosting, for being an amazing host. I can see crypto miners can at least hear me, so thank you guys. And I think we'll just I'll leave you with a couple of words of wisdom. And hopefully Jenny hops in before we close, but otherwise I'll leave it on some words of wisdom. A good friend of mine, Jimmy, from Tree Gens, always ends with words of wisdom. So my word of wisdom is find that project and that you really resonate with, that you think is going to be doing something, even if it's not about token price. Find that project that speaks to you, and see what you can do to help them out. I hope it's us. I hope you give us a chance. I hope you come join our community and check out Nunu Spirits. I hope, as Jenny said, that all 400 of you wrestle over those NFTs that are up in our marketplace. If those go down, if everybody is able to grab those, that will make my day for sure. I would love to have you with us on board as a Nunu Spirit holder. Lots of fun things for those of you holding NFTs in the future. And let's play some games and plant some trees. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, crypto miners. Thank you, Jenny, even though she had to leave us because X Spaces is not being very nice. Let's get that fixed, Elon. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you for coming. Thank you to all those who sent questions up. Make sure that we have your information so that we can get you your rewards. I got a screenshot of you guys. And yeah, send us a DM, Groot, Anthony, B. We had a couple of Vanquish Snake. Yeah, all the people that had questions here. Make sure you DM me your wallet address so I can get you your NNT. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Thank you, miners, for hosting. Bye, everybody.